Welcome to the Whiskey Vaults. I'm Rex.
I'm Daniel.
He's a level 3 whiskey sommelier.
He's a mooch.
Whiskey mooch.
He's a whiskey mooch.
Whiskey mooch.
Not just any mooch.
It's a niche mooch. It's a niche.
Not just any mooch.
A niche mooch. Mooch niche.
So here's the thing.
Yep.
Today's donation day.
Ooh.
Are you ready? Saddle up, son. It's about to get real.
I'm gonna tell you this. The donation day episodes, my productivity takes a hit.
After at the end of the day?
A little bit.
So how important is it that you get things done today?
Not at all.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. So, I was kind of excited about this one because at that event where people took photos of me drinking whiskey during dry week, I went to all the different booths that were selling Texas whiskey to talk to them about the Texas Whiskey Association.
You're right.
And I tried this one. I'd never heard of them before, Lone Elm.
Just bite my tongue.
I had never heard of them before, and they were making small batch Texas wheat whiskey.
Interesting.
Wheat whiskey.
Yes.
Right?
No.
Now, they are making it all themselves, local farmers, distilling it in their Vendome stills, sitting it on it for 4 years.
I don't know what a Vendome still is.
It's a good still, pot still, and 40
years.
Texas, 40 years in smaller barrels.
That is dark.
This is legit Texas whiskey.
Dark.
Right?
Yeah.
And I took a sip, and I will tell you, I have never had a wheat whiskey that tasted like this before. I do not know how to classify it, other than that what Balcones does to malt, these guys did to wheat, in the sense of, yeah, it's wheat whiskey, which we have a bunch of over there, but this is a whole other animal. That Texas heat did something to this, and it is
I've got it.
Extremely interesting.
I know what this is.
What?
This is really, really rich hay.
Yeah.
And the smell of Play-Doh. Remember when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah. Loved that smell.
Yeah, the smell of Play-Doh, and then really, really rich hay. And then
there, on top of that, there's your typical barrel notes, and there's a sweetness to it.
Yeah. So that is very unique, but it doesn't feel out of bounds with what whiskey should be capable of.
No, it's definitely in character. Bill Wofford?
Yeah.
Anyway, they're in Forney, Texas, which, if you know where Forney is, it's just east of Mesquite.
What about Brandon Choate
East of
here?
Dallas.
What about Brandon
Choate and Spencer Whelan.
Oh!
So let's do one at a time.
See, I just had locked and loaded for one person. I gotta take a step back, taking a step. Brandon Choate and Spencer Whelan, you magnificent bastards!
Now, they each gave us a bottle without realizing the other person had given us a bottle, so...
Okay.
We opened one.
All right.
And the other one is unopened.
Well, you're familiar with the policy of all overflow bottles go directly.
I am not familiar with said policy.
Really?
Yeah.
Will allow me to educate you.
You just set that in direct sunlight.
Lesson learned. Don't get me started in direct sunlight. Look, half of it is out of the sunlight.
No, it's direct. That's all direct sunlight.
Look, right here.
The whole shadow is on the bottle.
Look at the cork.
We're professionals. Let's taste this whiskey.
Damn.
Dude,
this is probably the most exciting wheat whiskey I've ever had.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I had given up on wheat whiskeys because I thought, I don't know. And then I tried this Lone Elm, and it was at the event.
Yeah.
I tried the Lone Elm and went, everyone stop talking. This is really good. This is a whole, I've never had anything like this before.
Right.
It's definitely whiskey.
Right.
And it's definitely that thing that Texas heat does to barrels. So this is a Texas category, right?
Well, in 4 years, the barrel bitterness is showing up on the finish.
Yeah. It's the aftertaste.
That lingers on the finish, and then it fades away, and I'm left with a little touch of sweetness.
But man, I'll tell you, it's dry.
Yeah.
It's dry like a dry red wine is dry, where you feel like you can taste bits of the barrel.
Yeah.
So when someone says, I'd like a dry red, this would fit the category of a dry whiskey. Mm-hmm. It starts sweet, and it starts that beautiful wheat, and then it goes, and just wood, oak, and bitterness.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like it. I like it a lot. It's not overly sweet. I think they're doing cool stuff.
We got this is the thing here. Monday morning discussion topic number 5.
What's the best whiskey cocktail? I've got one. This is mine. I wrote this down.
Oh, this is from Reddit. The subreddit.
Yeah.
Oh, subreddit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What's the best whiskey
So there was
cocktail?
a discussion in the subreddit, and somebody wanted to know in the group, what's the best whiskey cocktail you've ever had? You said...
So there's a bar in Austin called Eberly that's become my new go-to, and I go there 2 or 3 nights a week and just sit at the bar in the corner.
Old Forester Bourbon, Old Overholt Rye, Lefroy, and Maple.
Yeah, it's on one rock, and they mix 3 different whiskeys,
Right.
and put it on the rock with a little bit of maple for sweetness.
You mean ice, not little rock.
Yeah, well, one big chunk of ice, not on the rocks.
Because, cocktails are very creative. Sometimes they get crazy. They
Yeah.
put things
No, it's one full,
Right.
and it is interesting. I keep trying to decide whether I love it or whether it's just weird.
Right.
And every time I go back, I'll order it again, and I haven't settled on it yet.
Bourbon,
But I get it every time.
Bourbon, Rye, Lefroy, Maple.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I think they're just doing a Lefroy rinse and then mixing the bourbon and rye.
Fair enough.
There's another thing in there.
In here?
Yeah, there's an advertisement for a
No,
Happy
I saw
Holidays.
that. You're the only one that thinks that's funny.
I think it's really funny.
Because there's an ad in the thread,
Finish your wheat.
and it made it here, and Daniel keeps talking about how funny it is that an ad shows.
So now I'm getting maple off of that lone elm. Okay, so this one, I'm not sure about this one. This is from Aspen, Colorado.
Oh, it's a donation day.
Yeah.
I was ready to camp out on the wheat thing for a while.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Gordon Syrup and Leah Ashley.
we're getting a lot of double bastards these days.
Well, You ready?
Go. What?
This is a couple.
Oh, yeah.
They're together.
We-
This is one bottle the 2 of them donated together.
Gordon
Syrup
Syrup.
and Leah Ashley.
Leah or Leanne?
Leah.
That's
Leah.
an H?
Yes. I know these
Were
people.
you too drunk to write legibly?
No, I didn't write that name. They did.
Leah, you're drunk. Corn syrup and Leah Ashley, you magnificent.
Corn syrup. I thought
I thought he said syrup. Did you say syrup?
syrup. I thought you said corn syrup and Leah Ashley.
Corn syrup. Wait, is that syrup?
I don't know why. We have not had that much to drink.
Right.
Honestly, we're fine. But for some reason, this keeps just tickling my funny bone.
Corn syrup and Leah Ashley, you magnificent bastard.
I think I have a new nickname for Gordon.
Of course.
I know Gordon. Gordon's a Wizard of Ads partner.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now I'm going to call him corn syrup from now on.
Nobody introduces
You
me.
don't go to the Wizard of Ads meetings.
I do.
No, you don't.
Just me, or is this a little cloudy?
So here's what's interesting. I can't figure out if they're actually making it. I am 90% for sure they're not making it.
Uh-huh.
Because it actually says aged, blended, and bottled, but there's no distillation marker. This is bottle 287. This is Lock & Co. This is a distillery in Aurora, Colorado.
Right.
They are doing a 2-year-old rye, and then they're finishing it in aspen barrels.
Aspen barrels.
Aspen barrels.
Okay.
Never heard anything like it.
Made out of aspen trees?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Is that a type of tree?
And man, it smells perfumey.
The aspen?
It really does smell like a dense, clingy old lady perfume.
I'm getting a really dense combination of pine and rye spice.
Yeah, that's weird. You're right. It's pine sol.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you took bullet rye and then added pine sol.
And a little bit of lemon citrus in there.
Yeah. Well, to me, the pine sol is lemon, right?
And pine.
Lemon pledge.
So, I think this isn't a budget, thin, spindly notes. These are like deep notes.
Yeah.
These aren't my go-to notes, though.
No, but if you fell in
But-
love with this,
But I absolutely know there's going to be some people who love those kinds of flavors.
yeah.
They're like piney, lemony, rice spicy, and then its proof is not 40%, I guarantee you. This is 45%. And then
Add a little water because I can't decide on this. Remember, we're not huge rye fans, but this is unique enough
It's
to be
unique.
interesting to try another sip.
yeah, this wasn't a boring entry into.
2 friends started this place.
Right.
Rick Talley and Owen Locke started this distillery together.
Okay.
I don't know if they're making their own stuff yet, but I'm betting that this is sourced and then they finished it.
And they do something. And then do we know anything about the cloudy?
And I don't know because their website is incredibly hard to read and hard to navigate.
Dude, we have no room to talk about websites. Our websites, we did something once a year ago.
I don't care if it's pot kettle. We can still be honest about, even if we're honest about our own websites. All right, we're moving on.
Just real quick.
Gordon and Leah, thank you.
Just real quick. Here's a little comic strip that somebody dropped in the Facebook there. Did you say who put it in there? Oh, you didn't say who put it in there. Anyways. Daddy, why do you keep telling dad jokes? Well, Billy, like most daddies, I'm trapped in a shit life. I work from dawn to dusk. I pay mortgages and bills. I get no sleep, no fun, no sex. Dad jokes are low-effort attempts at humor, which I badly need because I'm miserable. Or should I say, because I'm dad inside. Oh, God, no. Oh, God. That's good.
That was like a one-man play version of the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, fully well acted.
Yeah, I just really wanted that to
I think we need
hit close to home.
I think we need an Emmy nomination for Rex's performance of a comic strip.
I should perform comic strips.
Yeah, for a living.
Put down a hat. And
That's actually not a bad idea.
Throw
I bet you
coin.
could do a channel where you just read comic strips and perform them as a one-man show.
Well, anybody can do it.
I bet people would subscribe to that channel.
All 8 people would subscribe to that.
Okay, remember Kings County? We tried their peated bourbon.
Yeah, I remember Kings County.
So Justin Jesser.
Justin Jesser, magnificent. Look at you. Best bastard. You're on a roll, man.
Yeah.
Get them all.
So he gave us both the peated bourbon, which was a bourbon, and where the malt was peated instead of just generic malt.
Yeah.
And then we tried that before, so I wanted to try the Bottled in Bond bourbon, which is their first 4-year-old single season bourbon.
It smells really nice.
Right?
On the nose, yeah.
I remember that I liked Kings County.
Getting classic bourbon.
Colin Spolman and David Haskell started this distillery in New York right after all the laws changed to allow New York distilling, which Ralph was instrumental in changing all of the laws to allow micro distilleries in New York.
You're saying Ralph like they know.
Right, well, he was the founder of Hudson.
Yeah.
And he's come to the class and hung out with us here.
Yeah. This is 50%, and I'm not on the nose getting anything more than classic bourbon notes.
Wait. So before you go, I want you to think about this. The cool thing about Kings County is they're in Brooklyn now in the Navy Yards. They are making typically bourbon is at least started in a column still and finished in a double or pot.
Okay.
Or all column. These guys are using actual Scottish pot stills to make bourbon.
The whole thing?
Whole thing.
Wow.
Double distilled pot still, Scottish style distillation.
Right.
Which is also what Balcones is doing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're doing this in New York, and so their bourbon is a pot stilled bourbon. Which I think is really cool. It should lead to much more rich, all these different congeners available.
So, the premise so far is classic bourbon notes on the nose, but the pot still density.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Let's go in
Even
and see.
the nose is heavy.
Let's go in and see if it's on the taster. Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
There's molasses.
Wow.
There's this dense sweetness, but it's not overpowering sugar.
So it's the oakiness is very, very present, but it doesn't destroy everything else.
It's a sweetness that you find in dark chocolate, where if someone said, "Is that dark chocolate sweet?" you would say, "Yeah," but that's not your primary experience of dark chocolate. Your primary experience is of dark, bitter chocolate.
Touch of cherry, touch of vanilla, and then a little.
And
bit,
I really am getting dark chocolate.
A little bit of cinnamon, and that dark.
Yeah,
chocolate,
I agree with that.
That dark chocolate bitterness is there too.
But if we're gonna say there's cinnamon, it's actual cinnamon, not cinnamon sugar like you put on toast.
Yeah.
But like actual dusted cinnamon, which is bitter.
Right.
If you try it all by itself.
This whiskey makes me simultaneously very happy and very sad.
Why is it sad?
I'm happy because I'm drinking this whiskey.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sad because, oh damn, they pot stilled this thing.
Yeah.
And now I know. Whenever you do the much less efficient, much more time intensive, much more costly method of pot still with a bourbon, you do get a lot more depth and richness and vibrance in those flavors.
Yeah.
Which I wish the shortcut always gave you the best results.
Yeah.
Not so much.
It's almost never true.
Right.
Okay, I'm setting mine aside because I want to drink this later.
We'll do it.
All right, we're moving to a gift from Sean Potter.
Sean Potter, Isaac Bowman, Pioneer Spirit. Here we go. Sean Potter.
You all right there?
Just threw down a lot of whiskey.
Yeah, you did.
Sean Potter, you magnificent bastard.
Okay, so this is Isaac Bowman. This is from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Hey,
In theory, they're making all their own stuff.
I've floated this idea at least a few times.
Okay.
Can we have a secret? I know. This is the bourbon we just did, the pot still bourbon.
Yeah.
Can we have a secret color-coded system that you and I know that nobody else knows?
Okay.
So we have like some type of color-coded thing.
Okay.
And the ones that we like, is like, oh, that's a thing.
We put it on the bottle.
We can go back and we can tell.
So you can go through bottles and you'd be like, we loved that one?
Because, and I'm not complaining, this is a wonderful, wonderful problem to have. Whenever you have something amazing, and then you get, a dozen episodes later, you have no idea what this was.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch my videos. They're garbage. They're trash.
Pure garbage.
Only animals watch our content.
Oh, God. We're 20 minutes in already.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Isaac, we got one more after this.
Son of a bitch.
I know. Settle in, man. So the A. Smith Bowman, or A. Bowman Distillery, opened the day after Prohibition ended.
Yeah?
And kept going.
So
1934.
So I'm sure they weren't doing anything before it ended.
Yeah.
They're just super on the ball.
It
Very
opened the day after. And for years was the only legal distillery in Virginia. Now this is all from a review from the Whiskey Wash. Because I searched high and low and had a hard time finding out information from these guys.
So, just a quick side note. The Whiskey Wash. I've heard this. I've never been to the site.
Oh, they're awesome.
You mentioned the site on many, many episodes.
They have a whole stable.
Tell us about the Whiskey Wash.
So Whiskey Wash is a whiskey-focused website where they have a huge catalog of people.
Yeah.
Think of it like Rolling Stone magazine.
Yeah.
Where you've got guest people reviewing things and guest people writing articles. Whiskey Wash is like that.
Oh, nice.
Where it's like, hey, this guy, he contributes to the Whiskey Wash.
So it's good content then.
It's good content.
They do some quality control.
Yes,
Make sure.
absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I'll check them out.
I love reading their stuff anytime I'm looking up a whiskey. Now, this is now owned by Sazerac.
Okay.
Like, they got bought out, and I don't know what the story is, but this is Pennsylvania.
You ready?
It's a port-finished bourbon. Okay. Are you finding any of the port notes?
I'm just waiting for you to taste it before you...
No, I'm trying to smell the port, and I'm not smelling the port.
So
when I smell port-finished bourbon, think of like Angel's Envy, I'm looking for all the dark fruit notes, and I'm not finding them in the nose.
On the nose, I'm getting like a honeyed cherry.
Yeah, I'm getting candied cherry.
On the taste, a big burst of...
There it is.
A big burst of vanilla cherry. And then...
What's weird is this is more bourbon than port.
Oh, yeah.
So usually the port cask, in my experience, when people have said we did a port cask finish...
Definitely more bourbon.
It took over.
Right.
This is more bourbon than port. So the port finish is an accent, not the dominant flavor profile.
You know what? Any bourbon that came after the pot still bourbon we just had, it's not going to have a fair shake.
Yeah, I agree.
There's something about the pot still just getting more of, just collecting more of that dirtiness, that nastiness. Just that hot, filthy congener action. Those filthy phenols. It's going right up in there and then just trickling down. Something about that.
I like this. This is a little bit candied.
You know, it is. It's nice, but man, I'm still so fresh off the heels of the pot still bourbon we just did.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I know how deep those flavors can go, and those aren't going as deep. They're there. They're nice. It's a nice bourbon. It's a really nice bourbon. I like the bourbon. But
I'm adding a little water.
I think I may need to. This is the one. Oh, I mean, just smell the.
I know. It's right there. I'm not gonna touch it.
Okay.
The water made it sour, so don't do that.
And I'm getting a front end sweetness and then a little bit of a bitter barrel finish.
Yeah. Okay.
I gave all the notes for that.
I dig it.
You just said yeah.
I just agreed with you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna be a weird one, and I'm not sure what to do with this.
Get a little neck rub here. I'm getting a cramp from carrying the show. Did you hear that pop? Just the tense.
That's just you being out of shape. All right.
You
all right?
Oh, that's fine. It's like, I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And I should feel like, oh gosh, I really need to, you know, get into shape. The thing is, the comedic value
Of you.
of me being
the weight?
of me being heavy, it's like there's no incentive for me to get healthier. Just because I so
it's your fault.
I so like the dad bod and just it being so
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, this is going to be a weird one, and I'm not sure what to do with it, and we know we're sort of ending on it, but this is the, how would you pronounce this distillery? Vikre?
Vikre.
Vikre? I don't know either. So this is from Duluth, Minnesota.
Duluth, Minnesota,
And
you
this is from,
magnificent bastard.
no. Keegan Reynolds.
Keegan Reynolds, you magnificent bastard.
So Keegan Reynolds donated this. This is a beautiful bottle.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
As a $3.75,
Well, and
one could only wish for a bottle that beautiful.
And they didn't really do a tremendous amount to it other than smart use of character size and spacing.
Yeah.
And then they have this textured bit.
Now,
all the way
this
around.
is a designer created product.
Right.
And no, it's well done.
Yeah.
Right? It's well done. So, Sugarbush Whiskey. Now, notice it's called whiskey, not bourbon or rye or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the shit they did to it, it classifies only as a whiskey.
What's in that bush that makes it
What
so
they did
sweet?
was they aged it in port barrels.
What makes the bush so sweet, Daniel?
They aged it in port barrels with maple wood staves. So a barrel that held maple syrup, they took those staves and they inserted them into the whiskey.
I have so many questions about the maple thing. That,
So,
not
this is
not
going to be a
maple
bourbon mash.
Not maple wood. You
No.
mean maple syrup?
A wood that held maple
No,
syrup.
I'm saying, but
Yeah.
not from a maple tree. It's not just say it. The wood's from a maple tree.
No, it's a maple syrup.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's maple
According to them.
A maple syrup in there.
Yeah.
I guess my question comes down to how are they prepping that barrel? Are they leaving in some?
Well, since they're only putting
Because
staves
that
in,
syrup is just going to.
since they're only putting staves in, I'm guessing they're just leaving it alone.
Really think there's just
Well,
like.
smell it. Oh yeah, they definitely left it alone. Yeah. So this is a port barrel.
Wow, it smells really nice though.
They made a bourbon.
Yeah.
And then, now the label says whiskey distilled from a bourbon mash.
Okay.
Which means if they had just made this with new oak, it would have been a bourbon.
Yeah.
So it's at least 51% corn.
Yeah.
But instead they aged it entirely in port barrels, as far as I can figure, with maple staves in it. This is either going to be a tragedy or really
Now
interesting.
here's the thing.
The nose is interesting.
If they're putting maple staves into this port barrel thing, I'm imagining a stave that just has just a coating, a thick, drippy coating of maple. No, that's not how you
It's a
handle
little
a stave.
dried, yeah.
Yeah, they've wiped it off.
Yeah.
It's just whatever's in
Whatever's
the wood,
in there, yeah.
whatever's in the wood. Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this. Last night, I was trying to decide what I wanted to drink while watching shows, and I stumbled onto a bottle of tawny port that I hadn't opened yet, and I went, I'm going to have tawny port instead of whiskey.
Yeah.
So I opened, poured a glass of port, and this nose on this whiskey smells like every sip of that port.
No, I'm saying the maple, it's there. I'm getting more of the port though.
The port is what the nose smells like. It doesn't even smell like bourbon. It smells like a port wine. That's weird. Like a tawny port, not a ruby port.
That's kind of lovely.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
I was ready to be really disappointed by this.
man.
I am not.
46.5.
That is dessert all day long, but it is.
But it doesn't go overboard with the sugar.
It's not overly sugary, yeah.
It's very sweet, but it doesn't
Wow.
go so far beyond the pale that you're not enjoying it.
crap, man. That's
Yeah,
these guys.
yeah. That's actually...
There's subtlety in that. I can't even believe there's subtlety in a port barrel maple finished whiskey.
Yeah.
How is there subtlety in that? Man, I was thinking we were going to end this episode, long episode, with a
How you doing,
disappointment.
How you doing, Jed?
Yeah, take a deep breath, man.
So,
But,
the subtlety that you get from the port casks
yeah.
isn't lost. What is lost is the whiskey bits.
Yeah, so here's what I was going to say. It doesn't taste like whiskey.
Yeah, that's it.
It tastes like high proof something,
Yes.
but it doesn't taste like whiskey.
But it's not so far removed from the universe of whiskey.
yeah, if you were having, okay, so last night as I was sipping on this glass, and every sip,
Dominantly port.
yeah, every sip I thought, I'm having wine, not whiskey.
Right.
This would fall into that category for me in that I would sip it not thinking of it as a whiskey,
Right.
just as a really wonderful, desserty, end of the evening beverage.
And then just the tiniest touch of almond.
You know, this would probably make astounding cocktails.
Oh, yeah. And by cocktails, you mean just pour it neat and shut the hell up.
Yeah, maybe even on the rocks. It'd be cold.
Yeah. We don't have time for that. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight, may you fight for a friend.
If you steal, may you steal a lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us in the Whiskey Vault. Don't forget to throw in a like, hit that subscribe button on the bottom right, and drop a question or comment down below.